The Wolfpack Revolution, How Community Redefines Success. Thank you all for being here today. I'm truly honored to stand before you to share some extraordinary insights I gained from my recent conversation with Genelle Lee, a visionary researcher, advocate, and thought leader whose work is fundamentally transforming how we understand entrepreneurship in America. Janelle isn't just collecting data, she's rewriting narratives and reshaping systems that have excluded too many for too long. Her groundbreaking research on Black women entrepreneurs is challenging everything we thought we knew about success, power, and possibility in business. For decades, centuries really, we've been fed a compelling mythology about entrepreneurship in America. You know the story: the lone visionary, the rugged individualist, the exceptional genius who, through sheer force of will and singular brilliance, builds something extraordinary from nothing. We've romanticized the solitary journey, glorified the maverick who breaks all the rules, celebrated the exceptional individual who stands apart from the crowd. It's a captivating narrative. It's inspirational. It's the American dream distilled to its essence. And according to what I've learned from Genelle Lee, it's fundamentally incomplete, perhaps even dangerous. What if I told you that the fastest growing group of entrepreneurs in America today isn't succeeding primarily through individual grit, but through the deliberate cultivation of supportive ecosystems? What if the real secret to sustainable success isn't standing apart, but standing together? This is the counterintuitive truth that emerged from my conversation with Janelle. Black women entrepreneurs whose businesses have seen average revenue increases of 32.7% in recent years are achieving these remarkable gains not just through personal determination, though that's certainly present, but through a revolutionary approach to community building that turns everything we think we know about success on its head. The data is clear and compelling. Black women are now the fastest growing demographic of business owners in the United States. But here's what makes this story so fascinating, so disruptive. Their path doesn't fit our traditional narrative of entrepreneurial success. Instead of the lone wolf model, they're pioneering something radically different, a model of interconnected advancement where individual achievement and community uplift happen simultaneously. Let me pause here and ask you to consider something profound. We've been conditioned to believe that true innovation requires separation, breaking away from the pack, disrupting existing structures, standing alone against the world. But what if the most disruptive innovation isn't about standing apart, but about creating new ways of standing together? What if the true revolutionaries aren't those who go it alone, but those who bring others along? This question brings me to Morgan DeBaun, founder of Blavity Inc. In 2014, Morgan created a media company by and for Black millennials that now reaches millions monthly. But Morgan's journey wasn't the stereotypical solo flight of entrepreneurial mythology. From the beginning, Blavity faced obstacles common among minority led startups: limited access to venture capital, skepticism from mainstream media buyers, difficulty scaling beyond niche markets. These weren't just Morgan's individual challenges, they were systemic barriers facing countless entrepreneurs from underrepresented backgrounds. Morgan's response? Rather than trying to overcome these barriers alone, she focused on building strategic partnerships within the tech industry. She cultivated an engaged digital community through social media campaigns. She sought out angel investors specifically committed to diversity. In other words, she didn't just build a company, she built an ecosystem. The results speak volumes. Blavity grew into one of the largest digital platforms serving young African Americans, securing over $11 million in venture backing and launching major conferences like Afrotech that attract thousands annually. But here's what's truly revolutionary about Morgan's approach. Blavity didn't just succeed as a business, it redefined what scalable success looks like for Black owned digital startups, proving that market demand exists when you center underrepresented audiences. The company exemplifies how ecosystem building, the deliberate integration of community, capital, and culture, drives sustainable growth among Black founders. This pattern of success through community isn't an isolated phenomenon. Consider Jewel Burke Solomon, founder of PartPick in Atlanta. In 2013, Jewel developed visual recognition technology, making it easier for industrial workers to identify replacement parts using smartphone photos. The inspiration came from her grandfather's equipment repair shop, where finding correct parts was tediously difficult. Like Morgan, Jewel encountered skepticism about technical feasibility and investor bias due to her age, gender, and race. Raising seed money proved challenging despite clear product market fit potential. And like Morgan, Jules' response wasn't to double down on individual effort alone, but to strategically build alliances. She leveraged pitch competitions targeting minority founders, including Google Demo Day, and built relationships with established players who provided credibility and customer introductions. The outcome? PartPick secured key pilot customers across industrial supply chains before being acquired by Amazon in 2016, a rare exit story led by a young Black woman founder in deep tech. Jules' journey spotlighted both the persistent barriers facing underrepresented founders seeking venture capital support and what's possible when innovative solutions meet targeted advocacy plus strategic networking. Her success wasn't just personal, it created pathways for others. Or take B. Dixon, founder of the Honeypot Company in Atlanta. In 2014, this former pharmacy technician launched a line of plant based feminine care products designed primarily for underserved consumers overlooked by mainstream brands. Bee created Honeypot after suffering recurring health issues herself and realizing few products addressed needs specific, both culturally and biologically, for women like her. B struggled initially with distribution deals due largely to implicit bias against both her product category, often considered taboo, and her status as a first time entrepreneur without major backing. Her solution? She used crowdfunding campaigns plus grassroots marketing through influencer partnerships targeting millennial women of color communities online. This rapidly boosted sales traction enough that Target took notice. Within 2 years of launch, Honey Pot became one of Target's best selling new natural wellness lines nationally. The company secured national shelf space at major retailers. B was featured on Oprah's Super Soul 100 list, and the business achieved multi-million dollar annual revenues while maintaining a mission-driven focus on education and accessibility around feminine health equity issues. The honeypot transformed perceptions around what mainstream consumer packaged goods can look like, normalizing conversations long stigmatized while carving out space economically, socially, and politically beneficial far beyond profits alone. These stories reveal something profound that Genelle Lee helped me understand. The most successful entrepreneurs from underrepresented backgrounds aren't succeeding despite their communities. They're succeeding because of how they engage with and build their communities. This insight fundamentally challenges our assumptions about what drives business success. We've been told that the path to achievement is individual, that we must compete rather than collaborate, that we must protect our advantages rather than share them. But these entrepreneurs are demonstrating something radically different, that building supportive ecosystems creates more sustainable, more meaningful success than pursuing individual achievement alone. Now, let's be clear about something important. This isn't just about Black women entrepreneurs, though their leadership in this approach is remarkable and deserves recognition. This is about a fundamental shift in how we understand success itself, a shift that has implications for all of us, regardless of our background or industry. The data Genelle shared with me is striking. Despite controlling $3.9 trillion in revenue nationwide, women, especially Black women, still face significant barriers when accessing funding compared to their male counterparts. Less than 10% of entrepreneurs are Black, and gender and race gaps persist at every stage of startup growth, from founding to financing. But here's the hopeful part: the rate at which these gaps are closing has accelerated thanks to intentional community building efforts. The most successful businesses are those that create or join ecosystems designed for mutual upliftment. They're proving that building your own business isn't just an individual journey. It's about plugging into networks that amplify your strengths, provide mentorship, and open doors to capital. This approach, what I've come to think of as the Wolfpack Revolution, represents a profound challenge to our cultural mythology about success. It suggests that the most powerful path forward isn't through individual exceptionalism, but through deliberate community building. It's not about pulling yourself up by your bootstraps. It's about creating systems where everyone has boots. The implications extend far beyond entrepreneurship. In every domain where we face systemic challenges, education, healthcare, climate change, social justice, this model of collective advancement offers a powerful alternative to individualistic approaches that have failed to create sustainable change. When Genelle and I spoke about these patterns, she emphasized something crucial. This isn't about rejecting individual excellence or ambition. It's about recognizing that true excellence and sustainable ambition require community. The entrepreneurs who are thriving aren't any less brilliant, determined, or hardworking than the lone wolves of entrepreneurial mythology. They're simply channeling their brilliance, determination, and hard work in ways that lift others as they rise. I want to leave you with a challenge today, one that has haunted me since my conversation with Genelle Lee. Look at your own life, your own work, your own ambitions. Are you still trying to succeed alone? Are you still believing the myth that true achievement means standing apart? Are you still measuring your worth by how far you've climbed above others? If so, I invite you to consider a radical alternative. What if your greatest contribution isn't what you build alone, but what you help others build together? What if your legacy isn't measured by individual achievement, but by collective advancement? What if the true measure of your success isn't how high you climb, but how many you bring with you? This isn't just idealism. The data is clear, the stories are compelling, the success is real. The wolf pack is outperforming the lone wolf. The question is, which will you choose to be? The revolution is happening. Communities are rising, ecosystems are thriving? Will you join them or will you be left behind, clinging to an outdated mythology that promises individual glory but delivers isolation? The choice is yours. But remember, no one succeeds alone. Not really, not sustainably, not meaningfully. So I challenge you today, don't just build a business, build an ecosystem. Don't just pursue success, create it for yourself and others. Don't just be a lone wolf, lead the pack. Because in the end, we rise together or we don't rise at all. Thank you.